Hello, everybody. My name is Alexandra with This is Improv, and today we are going to go over long form versus short form. Now, what do I mean by this? In improvisation, there are many different factions, many different games, many different types, right? But the two standing are long form improvisation and short form improvisation. First, let's talk about suggestions between the two. If you've ever gone to an improv show, you know that you are asked a suggestion or a prompt for the scene that goes on. A long form suggestion is just one suggestion that can drive the entire show from 25 minutes to 45 minutes, who knows, maybe even an hour long. When you're thinking of short form suggestions, we are constantly asking the audience for a suggestion. I guess you can take it as long form is to jazz as short form is to pop. When jazz is happening, there is this kind of melodic tone that finds itself. You know, it goes through the motions, it's feeling around, it's testing the waters in certain areas, but it's ever flowing and it keeps going. When you do short form improv, when we're comparing it to pop, it's quick, upbeat, it's fast paced because that's the game. In short form, there is something called the game of the scene. So the game of the scene is that you have a prompt, right? You have something like what we've done on here, which is perspectives. So when we play perspectives, you get a suggestion from someone in the audience, and you are to give them a different perspective from each viewpoint of this problem that was presented. This happens very fast and only lasts for about 3 to 5 minutes in a scene at most. If you've seen Whose Line Is It Anyway, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say short form. Short form improvisation can be seen as gimmicky, but that's only because it's so fast paced and constantly changing and moving. It's also why Whose Line Is It Anyway chose to do short form. Short form is much easier for people to produce, cut, retake, and also for the audience to get more involved and for those at home to constantly be entertained by it. Long form improvisation is based off of that one suggestion, and you are finding what the scene is about as the scene is going. It's extremely fascinating. For example, with long form, there is a show in Chicago that is improvised Shakespeare. So they are taking one suggestion from the audience and creating an entire Shakespearean performance with 2 acts for the audience. Do they know where the scene's gonna go? No, they're improvising it. Their addition to the long form is the fact that they're doing it in Shakespearean speech, which sometimes means iambic pentameter. And that show is a very long show. But because they're coming up with it on the spot, it makes you more intrigued as to where is this gonna go. They're giving us an entire play. And that's one of the beauties of long form. From this one suggestion, you have an entire show happening. If you are familiar with improvisation or theater, you should know that short form really took off thanks to Neva Boyd and Viola Spolin in the 1920s. And then when you think of long form, a lot of people think of Del Close. Some people say that long form in the beginning was very mechanical, and so was short form. That it wasn't very flowing, it wasn't very natural, but over time, after being put through the ringer, and after so many people making their own variations, their own styles, their own groups, their own flows, that it became less mechanical, it became the play. And this is the beauty of improvisation. You have to understand that improv is an art form that is ever changing, ever flowing, ever growing. It never stops. It is an art form. You should never think you know everything about improvisation. You should never think you know everything about your job. Even if you're an expert in your field, you should always be wanting to learn. You want to learn more about this subject. You want to consume everything you can about it. You should be greedy to want to learn about this thing. Long form helped launch the careers of some actors like Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, Steve Carell. If you want an example of long form improvisation, all you have to do is go onto Netflix and watch Middleditch and Schwartz. That is a prime example. Two people who are just finding the scene. What is the game? Because you don't know right away. If you have been watching our videos over these past months, you will see what short form improvisation is. The reason why we teach so much short form is because we want you to be able to consume it and be able to play it very easily at home with your friends, family. It's something that's easy to teach. That's one of the reasons why Viola Spolin had taught it to children, because she wanted it to be something that was easy for them to retain and something for them to bring to other students. Now, does this mean that people who do long form do not do short form and those who do short form do not do long form? That is not the case. It is good to practice both. They are both forms of improvisation. And if you love improv, if you love theater, you should practice both because they're both useful. Sometimes I find that short form is extremely good for fast-paced, quick ad-libbing, especially in your everyday life. If you need a quick problem solve, you do short form. Very fast-paced games with a focus. So there's an end game and end goal. Long form is really good for actors to learn about just being present, just being in the moment and learning that flow. Where is it going to go? We don't know, but we're going to find out together and we're going to get to this end goal, finding the game within the scene. I highly recommend that if you are thinking about going into acting, if you are thinking about going into public speaking, if you are thinking about working with people, you should definitely take an improv class, whether it be short form or long form. It's going to help you in the long run. What's funny is that in the beginning, when I said that Whose Line Is It Anyway was easy to film, right? Short form is very easy to film because it's very easy to digest for people. The times have been changing, and that is when Middleditch and Schwartz came to Netflix. You see that people are more open to the creativity, the flow, and going on that journey with you and finding out where you're going based off of that single suggestion. Personally, I'm biased, and I think that all forms of improvisation are amazing and awesome, and everyone should try it. But I sincerely think that if you want to take a class, just take it. When we do improv, we say that we have got your back. And that is exactly what we practice. Improvisation is a judgmental, free, creative zone. It is a party zone. You are there to create, you are there to learn, and you are there to just be. It is the biggest form of play that we can give to you. I remember when I was little and I would play pretend. And if you think of it, that was long form improv. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing, but I wanted to be a mermaid. And I decided the hour that I spent in the pool, I would be a mermaid. Because that's all you're doing when you're doing improv. You're playing and you're having fun and you're letting that creative flow go. Being present and being in the moment is one of the best ways to improv. And that is long form versus short form. I could go on until the entire history of short form and the entire history of long form, but that would take many more videos. If you enjoy content like this, I highly suggest you hit that subscribe button. I want to say thank you so much for sticking with me until the end of the video. If you have any questions or want to take a class with us, you can go to www.thisisimprov.com and sign up today for a drop-in class for teens, kids, adults. You can take a writing class, improv for life, or take a private class. If you have any improv questions and you just want to pop it down in the comments, we would be happy to answer you. Also, if you like podcasts and you love histories, mysteries, and ghost stories, why don't you go on to Spotify or Apple Music and look for This Is Legends of Yesterday, where we talk about histories, mysteries, and ghost stories of Florida. My name is Alexandra Zadek with This Is Improv. Thank you so much, you beautiful creature. Have an awesome rest of your day. Goodbye.